going to be 5 ways to use your dreams for self-care and personal development. If you are watching this on the replay and you would like to skip housekeeping, there are chapters in the description box to help you better navigate your experience. Let me go ahead and pull this back up on my computer so I can see things as people are coming in. It's a little blurry, but we're gonna keep it rolling. We're gonna roll with it. So housekeeping item number 1 is always this be interaction. As I'm going through the content and the information, even if you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and leave your comments in the comments section, your questions, comments, experiences in the comments section. I know a lot of things that I talk about are very new, so I don't want anyone on the other side of the screen confused or bewildered. So if there is something that you have a question about, go ahead and drop that below, okay? If you are watching this on the replay, please go ahead and give this video a like, a thumbs up. It is a free way to support me and what I do. Just like you're trying to grow, I'm trying to grow. Let's see, I have a 25 to 35% off Black Friday sale. Black Friday is this Friday. And if you are on my email list, then I sent that information out to you. It involves completing a survey just to give me a bit of feedback on what it is that you like about higher alignment, what things you would like to see in the future as regarding digital products, physical products, classes, workshops, all of that good stuff. So go ahead and check that out and you have a Black Friday deal for you. Let me drop the resources that I have for you this evening. The first thing is going to be the Dreamwork and Lucid Dreaming workbook. I would suggest that you bring this up if you have it and you want to go ahead and pull up workbook number 2. I would advise pulling up workbook number 2. It's called Dreamwork Part 2 or Dreamwork for Personal Development. The first workbook really gives you the foundations of everything that we've been talking about, how to improve dream recall, how to go from remembering 0 dreams a night to remembering 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dreams, how to create your own practice, how to develop your own intentions and your motivations, how to explore different areas of dreaming, liminal dreaming, hypnopompic, hypnagogic dreaming, the Nidra state, non-lucid dreams, lucid dreams. If you're into lucid dreaming or want to be, it gives you nighttime techniques, daytime techniques, all of that good stuff. But dream work is not all about becoming lucid or even dream interpretation. Dream work is a very general term that encompasses lots of different practices for a variety of different purposes from all types of cultures and perspectives from all around the world. But here on Higher Alignment, I always gear my information towards self-care, personal development, goal achievement, creating new habits, breaking old habits, all in the name of creating more well-being and balance and harmony in your life. So that's what I really want to get into and talk to you about tonight and show you how you can use your dreams to do that. So hopefully you have been keeping up with all of the information that we have been going through thus far, and we can dive a little bit deeper. And then the last thing that I have for you is Sacred Sunday Space and the Dark Art Self-Care Series. These are actually, that's the link to the September post, but go there and you can check out this month's workshop. So on my live classes, I always do a lot of teaching to give you kind of the intellectual perspective, the facts and things like that. I try to give you resources. But if you don't engage with these practices, then you're not going to get the benefits. Okay. So I created Sacred Sunday Space and the Dark Art Self-Care Series as a way to allow people to come into my world. We actually practice together. We do yin yoga, we do yoga nidra, we do shamatha meditation. I help you set up your dream journal when we're doing dream work. We do yoga nidra, we do breath work, EFT tapping, journaling, all of that good stuff. And all you have to do is show up. I create the routine and the practice that we're going to go through. It lasts for about an hour to an hour and a half. I have different themes that we engage in, and all of the practices will be geared towards that theme. But if you're someone who's finding it difficult to keep up with your own self-care practice, if you're finding it difficult to adhere to these metaphysical practices, and you're like, I learned about these things, I know about them, but I'm not necessarily getting those benefits, then come on and join me in Sacred Sunday Space. What I'm also doing moving into the end of this year, my little dog, Monstre. Moving into the end of this year and into the beginning of the next year is I want to create a library of extended practices. So if you do join Patreon, then you will have access to all of those practices. I'm going to get them organized. I've already been writing tons of them, and I'm going on vacation at the end of this week. So it's going to give me the opportunity to go record those practices and those meditations and things in nature. So it's going to be an added bonus and a great boost. So go ahead and check that out. But let's see, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the main content. Let me just take a little note so I know where to put the chapter marker. But we're going to go into the main content, and I have 5 different ways for you to use your dream journal for self-care, for personal development, for self-reflection. So hopefully, if you have been keeping up with the series thus far, you have had ample amount of time to engage in dream journaling, to build your dream recall. And I told you at the beginning of this series that using your dream journal is not just a way to remember more dreams. If you're serious about dream work, it is going to be your repository of material so that you can sift back through it. You can see what was happening in a certain point in your life, in your waking experience of reality, and in your nighttime dreaming experience of reality. And if you really want to dive deeper and engage with these practices, your dream journal is going to be your key to do so. So I'm going to roll through them. And once again, if anyone has any questions, comments, experiences, just go ahead and leave those in the comment section below, okay? The first one that I have for you is emotional tracking. And I have my computer here because I do have notes. Of course, you know that I always have notes. You want to make sure that you have notes as well. So go ahead and grab your pens, papers, notebooks, tablets, recording devices, whatever it is that you're going to need, because you may find that one of these practices or one of these methods calls to you more than the others. And I'm going to give you a variety of ideas and ways that you can use them. So you may want to go ahead and take notes. But the first one is emotional tracking. So let's think back to setting up your dream journal for the best possible outcome. I gave you a few tips. The first thing I told you to do was to date each page. And then you also want to give each dream a title. Skip a few lines because you may want to, well, date and then skip a few lines and title and emotion. In the area that you've skipped, this can be a place where you can write practices that you did before bed, like maybe you did journaling, or maybe you did yin yoga, or maybe you did some meditation. Maybe you were working with certain herbs, oneirogens like Thai blue lotus or Camellia zatica chichi or mugwort, or something like that. Whatever it is that you were doing, maybe you ate a heavy meal before bed or you were taking certain medications, or just anything that you could improve or have an effect upon your dream practice. That's what I typically put in that blank spot, just a spot for notes. But what we're paying attention to is under the title, you have your emotion section. And every time you write a dream, I gave you the instructions to write the main emotion that you felt in that dream, or even if you can't come up with an emotion word, maybe like a genre, as if your dream was a book or a movie and you were going to categorize it in some way. Now, if you've been doing that, then you're able to go back through your dreams and you're able to see what are the predominant emotions that are showing up in your nighttime experience, in your nighttime dreams. This is important because in personal development and goal achievement, your emotions most of the time can influence your actions. Sometimes we have a reaction to a certain emotion, an experience, and then our reaction to that dictates really what happens. If our actions are going to lead us towards harmony or if they're going to lead us towards disharmony. So you have a certain goal that you are working on, you have certain habits that you're trying to develop, you have a big project and you're trying to get from point A to point B. And sometimes people's emotions come over them and their emotions make them get frustrated or anxious or distracted in some kind of way. And then you may start engaging in patterns of behavior that are not actually supporting your end goal. So an easy thing to do is to track which are the predominant emotions that are constantly showing up for you in your dreams. And then, sorry, I'm just checking to make sure that you can see. It is a little blurry, but we're going to roll with it. To see what predominant emotions are showing up in your dreams, and then create goals to balance these emotions in the waking state. So say, for example, you're seeing that a lot of your dreams are characterized by anger. This may indicate to you that underneath the, what do I want to call it? Underneath the lemon or this threshold of waking consciousness, perhaps there are some undigested emotions where you are experiencing anger or frustration or rage or something like that, and you're trying to suppress it, you're trying to push it away instead of actually dealing with it and learning how to transform this emotional energy into something better, into something greater. So you can track your emotions through your dreams and then see, is this something that I am actually ignoring? Is this an emotion or an energy that I need to deal with or transform or transmute in some kind of way? And you can also look at the dreams and see, okay, every time I have an angry dream, what are the situations or the characteristics of that dream? What types of relationships or symbols or what is going on in the dream that is typically making me angry? Then you can think about your waking state. Okay, do these types of situations typically trigger me to become very angry or very aggressive or very, whatever emotion that you are choosing to explore in the waking state? And how do I respond? And those responses are your actions. How do I respond via my actions and my habits to those emotions? And is that supporting me or is it not supporting me? Do I want to make a shift? Do I want to make a change? Is this working for me? So that's the first thing that you can do, is track your emotions. Let's talk about the second thing. The second method that I have for you to use your dream journal, to use dream material for self-care, for personal development, is going to be tracking your dream self. Many times people pay attention to the dream figures and the characters in the dream, but you often forget about yourself. So I have I have 4 different just suggestions, and there could be things outside of this that you could be paying attention to, but just to make this a little bit more concrete for you. So think about the dream self, the figure that you manifest as when you are dreaming, and don't just take it in that one dream, but this is something that you want to track over time, like evolution of the dream self. So do you find that you are typically involved in the action of your dream? Or do you find that you are typically an observer? This could mean different things. If you are taking an active role in your life, an active role in engaging in your habits and your goals and your experiences, or if you're just being passive and letting things happen to you. Different perspectives. Is that working for you or is that not working for you? How do you succeed or fail at challenges? In the dreams can manifest in a variety of ways, but sometimes you have a goal or something that you're seeking or an adventure that you're going on in the dream. How do you typically do that? How do you succeed at achieving your goals in the dream? Or how do you fail? Do you find that you typically are succeeding in your dream goals? Or do you find that you're encountering a lot of obstacles and challenges and frustrations and setbacks in those dreams? How do you act or fail to act when you encounter those challenges or those obstacles? Do you give up? Do you find that that is the same pattern of behavior that you engage in the waking state? And what types of situations do you find that you engage in those patterns of behavior in the waking state? And once again, is that working for you? Is that not working for you? Is it helping you to get towards your goal? Is it leading you away from your goal? And you can also think about what are the dream self's inner motivations? Like when you are in your dream state, typically this is a place where the inhibitions that you place on yourself from an egoic perspective are lowered. So you're more likely to act out your deep desires. You're more likely to engage in an activity that you really want to engage in, but perhaps you would be limiting yourself or stopping yourself or putting boundaries on yourself in the waking state. What are the typical characteristics of your dreams and the actions and the motivations and the things that you are doing in those dreams unconsciously? And think about that. So paying attention to the dream self can help you identify your own attitudes, actions, and habits. Help you create new habits and assist you in creating change that will shape your waking reality. So that's just another way. Let me switch back over to my workshop to see if there are any comments or any questions that have come up. No. Okay, we're gonna keep it moving. It's the holiday week, so it's Thanksgiving week, and I figured that people would be busy doing their thing, so I will go live on Monday instead of Thursday. But you know how that goes. Let's go ahead and keep it going. So the third method, or the third way that I have for you, is going to be nightmares. And a lot of people have nightmares or scary dreams, and they often run away from them or avoid them, avoid talking about them, avoid dealing with them, avoid engaging with them. But nightmares are a golden opportunity for you to create positive change in your life. There is a forest tribe in Malaysia called the Senoi, I think that's how you say the name. And in their culture, they really put an emphasis on dreams. In the intro workshop to this series, I talked to you about wake centricity and polycentricity. Wake centricity meaning that you are in a culture or you have a perspective that you really only see life through the waking reality. Any other state of consciousness that is outside of the waking state of consciousness, you tend to discount. So you see this in Western society when perhaps, prime example, maybe a child has a nightmare, they wake up in the middle of the night, they go to their parents' room and wake them up and tell them what happened. And the parent may say, well, it was just a dream, it was just a nightmare, don't worry about it, don't pay attention to it, go back to sleep. Anything, any state of consciousness that is outside of the waking state, because the waking state is when the ego is most online, in a wake centric perspective or wake centric society, you tend to discount. But there are also other cultures that use dreams to really pay attention to, maybe when they're going to plant something, or if they should go to war, or if there's some danger that is coming to them, in ways that they use dreams and the interpretation of their dreams in order to really give more meaning to their life. So they don't place the entire perspective of reality only on the waking state. But nightmares are a wonderful, wonderful way to create lasting change and transformation in your life, because they help you Understand how you're relating to obstacles and challenges and negative emotions and negative experiences. The example that I want to give is the same one, but from a non-lucid state and from a lucid state. So if you are particularly interested in lucid dreams, I think that this is a wonderful thing to do. But talking really briefly about lucid dreams, say you have a nightmare or a scary experience, say like you have a monster that comes around the corner and you're in a lucid dream. In a non-lucid dream, you would probably respond to this situation by running away, by being scared, by avoiding that monster, by avoiding the fear or whatever it is. In a lucid dream, since you're lucid and you're aware that you're dreaming, you have a bit more control. It's important to note that in the REM stage of sleep, the brain patterns, the brain waves are the same as in the waking state. And the brain actually cannot tell the difference between waking and dreaming. The neurons are firing in the exact same way when you are in the dream state as when you're in the waking state. This is why lucid dreaming is a phenomenal practice to engage in if maybe you're trying to learn how to play a sport or learn how to do something different, or to transform your mindset, to release negative beliefs, things like that, because you're creating and enhancing and emphasizing neural pathways that are going to fire in the exact same way as in the waking state. But say you're in a lucid dream, you have a monster that comes up. Instead of running away from the monster, what you can do is offer yourself to it. It's something that's trying to eat you. Allow it to eat you and realize that that monster, that external force, did not destroy you. Nothing happened. You could generate an entirely new dream body and offer yourself to the monster again and allow it to eat you. You could just allow it to continue eating you, continue eating you, continue eating you. And what this is doing, it is creating new neural pathways in the mind that shift the way that you relate to stressors. Instead of allowing stressors and fears and anxieties to overcome you, to sweep you out of being mindful and put you in a place where now you are very reactive to emotions in a way that you are not being mindful of how your actions are going to affect the outcome. Now you've created a bit of distance. And now these fears, these monsters, don't have so much control over you. That translates to in the waking state, when your boss says something negative to you, or when someone does something that would typically make you angry or fearful. Now you realize that those external monsters, once again, do not have control over you. You've literally created new ways, new neural pathways, new habits to adapt to challenging situations, to fearful situations, to anxiety provoking situations that will allow you to have more peace and more harmony and more balance and more choice in your life. Okay? If you are not a lucid dreamer or you're not working with lucid dreams, you can do a similar process, and it will involve you having written down those nightmares and maybe gone through them in your dream journal, done a bit of interpretation, and figured out what those monsters or what those stressful situations represent to you. What types of daytime experiences are triggering those nighttime nightmares or those monsters or those scary situations. And there are different practices that you can do to re-enter a dream, to reimagine the ending, which is going to allow you to do a similar thing of creating new neural pathways to relate to those scary situations, those monsters, those obstacles, those challenges. You can create goals that you can habitually engage in the waking state that will slowly transform your mind and slowly transform the way that you once again respond to those monsters or those challenges or those difficult situations, in order to once again shift the way that you relate to negative emotions and negative experiences, in order to give you a little bit more control, a little bit more inner peace, a little bit more balance, and to bring a bit of mindfulness to your life and your experiences. Okay? So that is the third one that I have for you. Let me go ahead and scroll down to my fourth one. The fourth method that I have for you is tracking dream symbols. Tracking dream symbols. And what I will emphasize here is there's a difference between tracking a dream symbol and tracking the evolution of a dream symbol over time, and interpreting something in the way that I think a lot of people are very interested in dream interpretation. But sometimes people tend to take a dream symbol or situation and boil this symbol down until it is just a piece of text on their screen, or it is some static image, and they don't live with the dream symbol. They don't live with the dream and allow the dream to live with them and to go through its process of natural evolution to see what this is actually, what relationship this is showing that you have with yourself, others, or the world around you. I have a video on here on why I don't like to work with dream dictionaries. So, if you're someone who is particularly interested in dream interpretation, I will highly suggest that you check that video out just to give yourself a little bit of balance. You don't want to fall in the direction of just creating something that is completely static. It doesn't move and doesn't actually help you with dream work. So a few tips that I have for you if you're going to engage in tracking dream symbols and tracking the evolution of those dream symbols over time, to show you your relationship with different experiences in life, and once again with yourself, others, and the world around you. So you may be going through your dream journal and coming across certain images. Like for me, I didn't realize that I often dream about doors until I was working with someone on my own personal dreams, and she was like, wow, you tend to dream about doors a lot. And then I started going through my dream journals. I have hundreds of dream journals. Not hundreds, I'll say probably close to 100. I've been keeping dream journals for years and years and years, and I write a lot. I can write a lot in one night. But I go through my previous dream journals and figure out where I first saw that symbol. Once again, tracking the emotions that I attached to that dream. Hey, Tiffany, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing? Identifying the emotions that I originally attached or imputed upon that dream image or that dream symbol, seeing what situations that symbol or that image often manifests in the dreams, and then doing that and looking through different dreams from different periods in my life and seeing, okay, how does this symbol, how has it shifted, or how has it changed? How has my dream relationship to this symbol shifted or changed? So you want to identify what that symbol is. Maybe you already know what it is. Maybe it's something scary, from a nightmare, something that we, just talked about. But you want to think about what are the roles of certain dream symbols in your dream life and in your waking life. This also makes me think about glimmers. A lot of people know the word triggers, and glimmers are kind of the opposite of triggers, and people sometimes make their own glimmers. So they'll say, whenever I see a hummingbird, it means this. For me, I like to use wind chimes, and I'll call wind chimes money bells. Whenever I'm out in public and I hear wind chimes, they kind of catch my attention. It kind of it's a symbol that reminds me to come into the present moment, to express gratitude and appreciation, but also to be on the lookout for money. So sometimes you create symbols like that from a waking conscious perspective, but sometimes symbols or images are created in this exact same way, but from the unconscious dream perspective. So you can figure this out, see what those images are and track them and track their evolution and see what roles do they play in your dream experience and in your waking experience. How does your relationship to these symbols, the roles they play, and the messages they give you change over the weeks, change over the months, change over the years, or change depending on what types of situations you're going through? A lot of times you have certain dream images or certain dream symbols that only come up when you're experiencing stressors in your life, or when you're experiencing positive changes or shifts in your life. A lot of people, for example, dream about death, and they may take this in a negative way, but death is literally a type of transformation. So you may often dream about death maybe when you have gotten a promotion at work or a raise, or maybe you're moving into a bigger house or moving into a new apartment, or you're starting a business, or your business is taking off, or you got in a new loving relationship. You know, something positive has happened in your life, and then you start dreaming about death. And if you're not consciously aware and tracking the evolution of this symbol, you may take it, and this is once again just an example, you could take this symbol of death as constantly showing up and meaning something negative, because you haven't taken the time to explore what this means. You haven't taken the time to track when this is showing up in your dreams in relation to what is going on in your waking state and the evolution of this image over time. So if you're interested in this particular method, you know, those are some tips that you can use. And then you really want to think about, well, how can you use those symbols intentionally for growth and transformation? After you've gotten a hold on tracking the evolution and what does it mean, what is it showing you, you have the opportunity to maybe use that image in the waking state, or perhaps to induce a certain dream using that image that will allow you to create change in the unconscious mind in order to affect your waking life. Okay? Let me take a sip of my drink. And then let's see, the last one that I have for you is exploring dream figures. The last method that I have for you is exploring dream figures in relation to the self. So earlier I talked about exploring the evolution of your dream self. Now, you may not always have dreams where it's just you in the dream. A lot of times you have dreams and there are other figures, other characters that are in the dream. It's important to understand, though, that the dreamer behind the dream, the unconscious mind, creates the dream. And in the dream, everything is mind. The inanimate objects are mind, the symbols are mind, the environment that you're in is the mind. It is of the mind and from the mind. It arises as the mind, transformed, transfigured into these different things. So the other figures or the other characters in the dream are also, in a way, you. They're projections of yourself. And if you want to use this method, and you can identify the different figures in a dream and make certain associations to them, and then ask, what part of me does this figure represent? You know, so if there was, you know, I'm thinking of like a bully. There's a bully in the dream, and maybe the bully is bullying the dream self. But you could flip it around and say, okay, well, what part of me is very critical of myself? What part of me is uncompassionate towards myself? What part of me is angry with myself? What part of me beats up on myself or others? And why? And in what situations? You could think about the dream figure's attitude. What are the other motivations? The other dream figures, they clearly may have their own motivations, their own goals. They may have their own agendas that they are getting at in the dream world. And you can flip that around and say, okay, what part of me is that? What part of my motivations are represented in that dream figure and their motivations, and what are they doing and how are they going about that? How are they succeeding or how are they failing, and how does that represent me and what I'm going through and my experiences in life and my relationship to myself, others, the world around me, or whatever situation is at hand? You can think about kind of what I already alluded to. What are the interactions with the other dream figures and the dream self? And in particular, this brings up relationships, so how do these different perspectives and dynamics play out in your relationships in the waking state between you and other people, especially those big people, those major relationships in your life? You may often even dream of those people, so you can think about other dream figures that are interacting with other dream figures, or the people who you are in relation with, how the dream figures that are the people who you are in relation with are relating to you. Maybe you are projecting or thinking that maybe this person likes me, or maybe they don't like me, or maybe they feel some kind of way about me, or maybe they're angry with me, or maybe they're upset with me, and you don't actually know. And maybe it's something that you haven't actually addressed, but it's showing up in your dreams, because in the dream, that dream figure is acting out those unconscious projections that you are imputing upon that person in the waking state. So there are lots of different ways that you can use and explore dream figures and their relationships and their dynamics and their motivations and their goals to figure out a little bit more what's going on with you in order to create new goals in your waking life that once again will lead towards increased harmony, balance, and positive self-transformation in your life. But those are everything that I have for you. So those are the 5 ways. And there are tons more, but I think these are good. 5 different ways that you can use your dream journal, your dream material, your dream images for personal development, for personal growth, and self-care. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I hope that you all have a wonderful holiday week. And I'm actually going on vacation. So I will be back in December. I may go live, just like popping in randomly to do a workshop here or there, or just a chit chat. If you're on my email list, then you may see something, come out from me letting you know that I'm going to go live. But otherwise, I'm going to see you all in Sacred Sunday Space. And our next dark art self-care session is going to be tomorrow. We're going to be doing some shamatha or some mindfulness meditation. We're going to do some breath work and yin yoga in order to relax and rest and decompress before the evening. I'm going to show you how to get rid of some negative emotions and process experiences that you've had from the day in order to release them and not carry that energy into your sleep and into your dreams. So it's going to be quite the practice. Tiffany said, thank you for the clear methods. I'm glad that you enjoyed them. You're going to have to let me know which one you are interested in trying out, and let me know how it works out for you. I would love to know, what you all are doing and how these practices, how these methods, how these tools are helping you to create more positive, lasting change in your life. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and head out of here, and I will see you all in December.